Welcome, 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 Chi-Town, to another edition of All Ball Chicago. I'm your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed, and I got the legend, the NBA veteran, Marcus Liberty on the line. Marcus, what's up, big Marcus?
What's going on, my beautiful people? You know it, man. I'm in the building. Man, it's been crazy, man. Last couple of days, man. It's been crazy around here, man. So hope you all well, man. I hope everybody in your family is well, man. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I hope
Man,
you are too.
I hope your family's well too, bro, man. With the recent outbreak of everything that's happening, we just gonna touch on the sports part of it because we
Yes,
love sports.
yes.
And we want everybody to be safe, but we're a little bit heartbroken. So we want to
Right.
talk about the heartbreak.
No doubt.
So I'm gonna
No
give
doubt.
it to you, big guy. What was on your mind with all of the cancellations, man?
Man, I was definitely, saddened by it, but I do understand, that you got to be precautious about uh, what's going on, man, because what they don't know is hard, to find a way for these guys to just go out and compete and not knowing really how they, can get this virus, man. So big shout out to the NBA for shutting it down. I mean, we know two of their guys did contract this disease, but it's better to do it now than to do it later, man. So until they get more information on, they suspended the season. Uh, I think for 30 days, they said they was going to try to suspend it for 30 days to see where it goes after that. But then you got the college, man, college hoops. I mean, these kids pour their hearts out, man, to make it to the tournament, especially these teams that was on. I mean, they had to win their conference tournament to get in, and they gave it their all, man. And now all of a sudden they can't, even get to the tournament and compete, man, and have that one shining moment.
Man, could you imagine how that feel? Could you imagine right before you guys get ready to go to the Final Four, right, Lib, in '89, they tell you game off. What do you feel like? You've been there. I know you ain't been to this magnitude, but imagine putting yourself in that situation, man.
I definitely can imagine myself in that situation, man, because I was a student athlete and to see it, let's imagine if that was that 1989, you know, team that made it all the way to the Final Four, and all of a sudden we we put our all into it, and then all of a sudden it was taken away just like that. Like we were on a roll. Like it was teams. I think it was building momentum. Now in a conference tournaments, it was building some momentum, and all of a sudden now it's gone. Because of this coronavirus situation that we have. So if that was our team, yeah, I would be devastated, man, because a lot of us, that's what we play for. We play for, the national championships. We want to, you know, show the NBA scouts what we all about because NBA scouts be at those games, and to see it just taken away. I know a lot of those seniors. I hope they do something about it, man. Find a way that these seniors can get that year, another year, so they can play, basketball again for their colleges.
Maybe at least a half of a year. But take me through the mind of Charlie Moore, Charlie Moore, and Ayo Desumu. I think I pronounced that right. They won that big game the other night against Xavier. DePaul did. Charlie played his tail off, and then Ayo played his tail off against Iowa the other night to push it. So they
Well,
got a bye going into something, and that had to do with that. Take me through their mind. Come from Chicago, and you know the grind of Chicago kids to get to this point.
well, it's two different situations, right? It
Okay.
was it was for the Paul Blue Demons and Charlie Moore, it was do or die. Like
Right.
if you don't win your conference, you're not making it to the tournament,
You're
pretty
not
much.
making it. You're not going. Right.
Io situation was in a good position. I think Illinois was that fourth seed in the Big Ten tournament, so they got a double bye. So they didn't have to play until Saturday, which is today.
A
So
double
they
bye.
didn't, yeah, a double bye in the Big Ten. So they didn't really have to play until today, and they probably was going to face the team that they had all of that, commotion and things with, at home, their last home game, which was Iowa. So they probably would have to play Iowa again for the third
Again?
time.
Ooh, that would have been a tough one. How many times they
So
beat them?
uh, Iowa beat them at home at Iowa, and Illinois beat them at Illinois. So it was 1-1.
Oh, okay.
So the cards, were a little dealt a little different for the two guys, but we both know what they're capable of doing. Both of the players, I think a lot of Chicago kids live for moments like this when their backs against the wall, and when people are talking, they're writing, their teammates off and their team off. So these guys have the chip on their shoulder, like, you know what, I'm gonna prove everybody, that we can still win this thing. And you saw that with Charlie Moore and DePaul when he beat Xavier, and Xavier beat them, I think, twice.
Yeah.
And IO came, I mean, not IO, but Charlie Moore came through and in a big way, in a
I
major way.
mean
And I
that
think they were
that
going to do
second
something.
half, man, he just put on a doggone clinic, man. He just got his composure, and those shots that he usually would take, he started passing them. He found the boy Paul Reed, big fella down there. I mean, it was masterful. One time going up the break, he looked dude off, caught a guy going up the middle. Dude was trailing, going straight up the middle. I just thought it was masterful, man, the way he played down the stretch. So that was my first time really seeing him like close out a big game, and that was
Like I
big.
told you, man, you have to, when you have kids, and just think about this, man. I know I'm jumping, but when we were all playing, we were Chicago kids. That's what we played. We played like we had a chip on our shoulders when we played against other teams. Like, man, we about to give it to you guys. So I'm pretty sure that's how the mindset that Charlie Moore was thinking. You know what, Xavier, y'all beat us, but it's not gonna happen. We in Madison Square Garden. The lights are bright, and I'm coming to
Mm-hmm.
play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was a beautiful things. So now
And
they don't get to play. And what do we do from here? How do we answer the bell reconciliation with these young people? What would you, if you the GM, you're the commander in chief, how do you fix this?
Well, I definitely would say, man, you have to give these kids at least another shot, by letting them come back. The ones that's seniors. But like I think Charlie Moore still had one more year left. I think he would still have one more year left.
Yeah, yeah, we got one more year left.
So Charlie still can come back and do his thing. But for those who's going to put their name in the draft, I mean, it's this like we're gonna talk about the high school in Chicago too, but this is the same situation. So if you have guys that have potential to go to the NBA, but the NBA scouts just want to see them a little bit more, they come to these tournaments. They come to the Big East tournaments. They come to the NCAA tournaments if you get invited. They go to the NITs. So they go out and still try to do their evaluation of these players. And now they just don't have that opportunity to do it no more because of the coronavirus situation that we have now.
Yeah, man, that's unfortunate. It is definitely unfortunate. I just think about the seniors, those senior kids, like that last hurrah. I mean, you want to feel like you lost it. You don't want to feel like it was taken. You know, you want to go out there on the floor, at least give it a shot, man. And
But
they'll
but
get
Bob,
it back though. They'll get
but
it back.
like I always said, man, some situations, some things you just can't control. This is one of those things that we cannot control. So it happened, and I'm pretty sure some of the kids and their parents were like, you know what? I'm kind of happy, not happy, but I'm glad they didn't let y'all play because we don't know how you can contract this. So I think it's a win situation as far as that go. But at the same time, we know our kids, how competitive they are. They wanted to probably, play a game or games to see how far they can go.
Right. Yeah, man. So yeah,
But
that's
then
that's that's a heartbreaker.
it's heartbreaking, man, because I know you like basketball. I love watching basketball. And that I was looking forward to it. I mean, I saw DePaul beat Xavier. I was excited, and I was looking forward to Illinois playing today,
Oh
whoever they might have
man.
played. Um, is so, but
Let's
it, but
not
it, but
even. Oh man,
but
let's not.
it gives us an opportunity to talk about it on our show, All Ball Chicago, about what's going on and how we think and how we hope it plays out, you know hopefully the NBA will continue, but we don't know about that either. But we know the main concern is to protect our players. So
Well, that's number one, first and foremost. But then it became a trickle down effect. Once one league started canceling, they all started canceling. The PGA, you know what I mean?
baseball,
Baseball, training camps all over the place, man. I mean, let's get to high school. How about those
it's
high
serious,
school
man.
kids? They
It's
canceled
serious.
all of that. They closed the schools down too, bro.
They close. I mean, which they need to, man. I mean, until we could get a grip on it, man, and get more information out, so people can understand really what's at stake. I mean, we all should be doing this anyway, which is washing our hands and making sure we're taking care of our bodies. Um, we should be doing that anyway, but it's good that they are saying make sure you do those things. But high school basketball, man, it's huge. I mean, in Chicago,
It's huge. Around the
people,
world.
it is, man. But we talking about Chicago
Chicago,
right
right,
now, so
right,
you
right,
know.
right.
But yeah, no, you're right. But in some states, it's already over with. Like here in Florida, I think the state championship was already over. Um, but in Chicago, we was just getting to nitty gritty of it.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Whitney Young High School was going to play Curie.
yeah. Whitney Younger
Curie High
just beat
School.
beat Simeon, man.
So,
Beat my
so
beloved school.
it's crazy how they format it. It seems like they play each other the same. It's always the same three teams that's
Yep,
battling it out for that to go downstate.
yep. They
To
knock
win the
each other
state. I
out,
mean,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that
So
4A though, man. That's
for
that
it, yeah.
4A. So yeah, man. But what was you
But
saying?
but back to but back to what I was saying when I mentioned the NBA. Oh no, when I mentioned the college guys want to get looks, but it's the same situation with high school guys. They need to get some extra looks, and I'm not talking about your elites, quote unquote players, like your DJ Stewart's, who already basically
Locked
is
and
going to
loaded.
Duke. Yeah, he's going to
Uh-huh.
Duke. Adam Miller, he's committed to the University of Illinois. I'm talking about those bubble guys, right on the bubble of being a mid-major or a high major type player. They need these games because now people, these college recruiters, they come and look because it's like, oh, I was asleep on this guy. I didn't know he can ball out like this. So now you getting some more looks and getting your eyes on these players. And now they just won't have that opportunity to get looks. So now where do those players go? They qualified academically. Now, if they on a bubble, they might have to take a D2 school or a low major school to go play ball when they was trying to say, what, I'm shooting for that high major.
I
So
think what
it's
I end up come up with a bunch of showcases. Once this thing open back up, and it will, you're gonna see a ton of showcases coming up now, man. Everybody gonna be trying to have one with D1 coaches. D1 coaches will be there. D1 coaches will be there. you know.
oh and Bob, they might even do this. I mean, we talked about doing something like this before. They might start live streaming everything.
Well, that's what
So
we
people
gotta do, man.
So,
You
but that's
know.
what I think they're going. That's what you're going to see probably a lot of that too, live streaming. So college coaches and assistant coaches, they can get behind the desk like we are right now, behind each other's desks, and
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 watch the
and, and
live
doing our
stream.
show,
But we
live
own
streaming.
we own the rights to that, man. So whenever we ready to activate that, we got that, man.
Yeah. So,
So
but
yeah.
I definitely know a lot of kids, especially seniors, man, are really down because this was their big moment to prove that they can play on a big stage and get things done and hopefully get recruited by some bigger schools. And that's not going to probably happen. But like you said, I'm pretty sure if this thing gets resolved, it's going to be some events that seniors can participate in and hopefully get the looks that they deserve.
So wow, that's something else, man. It's been a pummel down effect as far as with business and everything with all these kids and parents. And I know there's a serious level of depression. And I mean, if you
Right.
had to tell everybody, if you wanted to give these kids some advice, I mean, the parents, what would you tell them right now if you had to tell them something? What would it be?
Well, well, I think our kids in general, like they follow in they moms or their parents' footsteps, right?
Mhm.
So if you see your mom panicking and oh, I don't know what's gonna happen, then of course you're gonna feel that effect and you're gonna start panicking and doing the same thing. So I think we all should just be calm. I mean, pay attention to the news, of course, but I wouldn't believe everything on the news, but pay attention to the news. Um, they give you some things that you need to make sure you're taking care of because they do have some doctors on there. It was like washing your hands and doing what the proper things. Don't be shaking hands. This is the
Right.
way you can get the disease transferred to someone else. So you want to just um, be cautious, man, about that. Hugging, and I know we love hugging and dapping up people and giving handshakes, but we just got to be careful. And I think the parents, you can educate your kids at home about make sure they do the proper things and all that. So they look up to you. So make sure you do that, and also to let your kids know that there's going to be more opportunities for great things to happen. Maybe this happened for a reason. I always look at things, man, for the better. I don't look at the things for the worse. So this too shall pass.
Now, that's beautiful, man. I definitely agree with you on that. And I was thinking, man, this would be a good time to really, really, let people know that you do help parents with recruitment. So parents who are looking to place their kids, you know, you will have to evaluate them before you take them on. But you was doing some recruiting. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Bob. Man, I've been helping a lot of people, man, and just off of my love of the game, actually, like I want to continue to try to help kids, but I also be real. A lot of times people are not real with their kids. Some people want their kids to be D1s, and I have to tell them he's a D2, D3 player. And of course, they keep pushing the envelope. Man, come on, you gotta get them there. You gotta get them. So I go ahead and do the favor, and I get the response back, and I share that information with the parents, and they still don't want to believe it, man. I said, look here, this is what they said, exactly what they said, word for word, that your son is not D1 material. He
Mm-hmm.
needs to work on some things, but he's a senior. So either you go, and this is the information I give him, either you can go post grad, get better, work on
Mm-hmm.
your game and try to develop
Post
it.
grad being a prep school.
A prep school, so you can get that extra year. It's like an extra year of high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do that and go that route if you truly believe that your son is this type of player. Or you can go ahead and just try to get that D2 scholarship. Um, and most D2s don't, give you full rides. Of course, they give you, you know, partial scholarships, but they can be creative if you got good grades and all that. So I'm telling this to this guy, that really wanted his son to be, on the D1 circuit. I mean, on that D1 school, and it's just not gonna happen. So sometimes you have to be honest. But I get it all the time, Bob, about can my son play D1? And then some, I'm like, I don't know how your son, is not getting looked because he's got the talent, he's got the skills. I just don't understand what they looking at.
You know
So
what? They only give out so many scholarships, though. They only got so many scholarships every year, positions, man. And that's what one thing we all have to understand. You know.
and that's why I tell people, like they'll tell me a school, like a certain particular school, and I'm like, well, your son is a guard. They already have 3, 4 guards.
Right.
Do you really want to send your kid there? And one of them is a freshman. So that means that freshman is probably going to be there, I'm going to say at least 3 years. So
Right.
your son is going to be sitting behind him for at least 3 years. Do you
Yeah.
want that?
Yeah. That's a
So
tough one, man. That's a
so
tough one
I
there.
I try to break it down, so they can understand it, that everybody, and you see it on social media a lot that some people say, be careful what you ask for because if your son is not on that level, he will get exposed.
Right.
So So I always said is like I keep going back to Javon, my nephew Javon Freeman Liberty, is when he was playing, he used to get so frustrated, on the circuit when he was playing, that why am I not getting the looks? And I bust this guy up, I bust this guy up, and I'm not getting no major looks. And I just told him like this. I said, Javon, just keep balling, just keep playing. It'll all happen. And then one tournament, EYBL circuit, I mean, he got down. Of course, it was all mid-major schools, but I told him sometimes if that's what's dealt to you right now, go ahead and prove that you can ball out at the mid-major schools, and then you go from there. And he's been doing that. So I always try to tell kids, don't get so caught up in certain names or certain programs. Understand who you are and what you can bring to the table, no matter where you're at, or no matter what school you go to.
Yeah, that's big, man. I think that one thing kids don't understand is the projectile of being able to go to a Division 1 school and being able to play ball in its reality, because it's only like 1% or 3% of athletes get scholarships every year to go to school.
Hmm.
That's the likelihood. So that means you have a better chance of going in as a walk on, and then and figuring it out. So I think we just all have to live in our own reality and Bleav, continue to not give up on what you want to do, but live in your reality and don't get outside
But
your body.
but Bob, do you think sometimes it's the parents' reality, or is it the kids' reality of where they want to go and where they see themselves fit? Like, for instance, if you had a kid, right? And I know you do have a kid that plays basketball, but I'm just talking in general now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you had a kid and you said, man, I want my son to go to Duke. And he keeps hearing Duke, 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 Duke when he know he's SIU, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in his mind, he's like, I'm SIU, but my dad keeps saying Duke, Duke, Duke. So now he's confused of what kind of player he really is. So I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes our parents can confuse the situation by saying one thing when the kid already know what type of player he is.
Right. But to piggyback on that, what happens with these kids, like you said, though, they get to playing against kids who do go D1 and they have good games against them, and they be like, "Well, he went." You know what I'm saying? But it's
Right,
a luck of the draw, man. It's one of
right.
those things, just the luck of the draw, man. I see
And
the
I'll
kid.
and I'll
Go ahead.
and I'll say this too, Bob, but what you just said, that's one game, right? That's one game you had a good game. These kids who they recruited, like these elite kids, they have good games a lot, more
Mm-hmm.
so than just one game that somebody shined. Like I said about Javon, he bust some guys, but the scouts looking at it like, that's one game. Now, I didn't seen this guy who's nationally ranked, then give it to people night in and day out. I mean, day in and night out, day in and night
Mm-hmm.
out. They giving it to people. So these scouts, they know, they see it. Yeah, such had a great game that game. Let's see them do it again tomorrow.
I see. Circle back to DePaul. I see the kid Devin Gage. He redshirted,
Hmm.
so he redshirted and he transferred. He redshirted this year, so he
So I
transferring.
wonder why. Did they say why he redshirted? Was he hurt? Was he injured?
I think he was hurt.
Or
I
they
think
just
they say he was hurt. So he took an injury red shirt. So he got this year back. So he's
so that was
transferring.
smart. That was
Yeah.
smart. If you feel, I mean, I don't know about the situation, but if he was hurt, I mean, that was a good, choice by, red shirting him instead of saying, let's get you healthy and get you back on the court. Maybe take this year off, get yourself healthy. And then I'm thinking, if I was him, he probably looking at it like, and they got guards in front of me. Maybe I need to just transfer. So now, if you transfer, they're supposed to be changing the rules. You can get the play, immediately. Don't quote me on that because it's not out yet, but I'm assuming that they are. They've been talking about kids can transfer and be eligible immediately.
That's
So
beautiful.
so we just got to wait and see on that. But man, I hope the kid goes somewhere and lands at a good place where he can play.
Yeah, he
And
go
I know
somewhere
we
like a
mentioned,
Arkansas State or something. You know what I'm saying? He gotta go somewhere like that. You know,
I mean,
sometimes that even DePaul's a really huge program, and
even
you
if he
going
goes right, even if he goes right up the road, I mean, UIC wouldn't be a bad spot for him. You know, like it's still home.
right.
But they at first they got to get a coach because I just heard they fired the coach over
I
there.
was finna
So
say that, but I didn't want to say it. But I was pretty sure that, and
yeah,
they. I think we got a few coaches who done got kind of let go this year in Illinois.
yeah,
What I understand, I won't say names until I get it all in writing. But yeah, it's tough, man. That coaching spectrum to be able to maintain a job when you're having three losing seasons, man. That's tough.
yeah. But I always think like this, man. Like when you get guys that's coaching at mid-major schools, what is your expectations of that coach? Do you want to win the national championship? Maybe that's probably not going to happen. I'm just going to be real,
When the
right?
last
Because you have,
mid major to win it? What's the last mid major?
man, I can't remember, dude.
I will pull that up. I
You can
want to
pull
see
that one
that. I
up,
want to find that out.
but I'm saying, like, what's the expectations? Like, do you just want to have a winning season? I mean, some of these athletic directors have it in their minds of what they see and what they want to see happen. I know they're not going to come out public and say it, but you're not going to win, you know, a national championship at a mid-major, not right off the top. So it takes time for you to build your program up. And I don't know how long the coach, been at UIC, but I'm assuming he's been there at least 3-4 years, at least 3 years, 3-4 years. So that was enough time for him to get the right guys in to try to get what he needed to win, the game. They got lucky. I mean, they almost won a conference. I'm not gonna say lucky. They got to the championship game and they would have got to the championship game. Which one was it? They lost. They beat Rice State and they lost to Northern Kentucky, and Northern Kentucky won it all, I think, right? Yeah, so Northern Kentucky. So they lost in the championship game in their conference, in the Rising Conference. So, and he gets fired. So
Wow.
what is the expectation? What you really want? He got the team all the way to the conference championship game. I guess that wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's
So
unfortunate,
did you look
man.
it up? Did you find out?
Say, well, they got it based on like rankings, the top 10. So is Temple's a mid major?
The conference, they're in a good conference.
Yeah, and
So
the conference
I
is
look at
granted, but they got
yeah, I
Temple
look
is
at the
1988 with Mark Macon.
right. See, I look at the conference. Like Atlantic 10 wasn't a bad conference. I'm talking about like somebody from the Horizon League, win it all.
Right. Nobody
Uh,
won. Let me see who won it all. Utah 1998.
so people like
No,
in Iona's
Butler.
conference. Uh,
Butler.
Butler is considered. They do consider Butler and those are mid-major schools though.
Gonzaga in
So
2013. They ranked them
Zaga's
top
the same
10.
way.
So Louisville in 1980.
No, Louisville ain't no mid-major though. I mean,
Oh,
back then they were in a different conference. So I think they were in the Metro conference back then. But yeah, man, it's hard to win, man, if you're not one of those excuse me, powerhouse uh, conferences. You know,
okay. So they say UNLV 1981, 1991.
UNLV. That was it. They were in the mountain. What they were in the Mountain West,
They was in the Big West back then.
Big West. Oh, okay,
So
so
they was a mid
I mean, yeah,
major.
but shit, they didn't have no mid-major players. They didn't have no mid-major players. I tell you that.
But they won it one year though, and they lost it the next year, right?
They lost to Duke.
They lost to Duke.
Yeah.
Right, you're right. They didn't have Grandmama Mile, all them Stacy Hogg with them. Nah, you right.
They ain't had no mid-major players. See, that's what. So let's talk about that. So you say we just said UNLV was a mid-major school, and
Yeah, back then.
all those guys went to play for UNLV, who was coached by Jerry Tarkanian, right? So they looked at the personnel who was coaching that school team and said, I want to go play for that guy because they saw
Mm-hmm.
what he was all about, no matter what school he was at. So these guys formed a bond and said, you know what? We got all these elite players. Let's go win a championship. And
Yep.
they did it.
And they did it.
You know,
And
and
they
that
did
and
it,
that
man.
and that was the same situation with us at the University of Illinois. Let's, you know, all this talent. Let's see if we can gel together. Let's see if we can build momentum during the tournament because you have to have that momentum. You have to have that fire, that power, that fight power
Mm-hmm.
to get through each round, and you have to be mentally tough. And I think with the talent that we had back then coming out of Chicago, it was almost a given that we was going to battle. We knew we was going to battle. Now, what happened
Ooh.
after that was truly up to the coach, how he played, how he substituted, how he did certain things. So we knew we was going to do our part, whether, we were coming off the bench or we were going to go in, we were going to start. We was just ready to play. So
Who'd have been
Chicago,
who? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Chicago guys always have that mentality no matter what. I'm going to be ready when he call up on me.
Okay, who wins these games? It's the last three games. It's the last three teams left. And y'all got to battle it out for the national championship. Your team from 1989, that Juwan Howard and them was that 94, 95.
Okay.
And then you got LJ and them 1991. Because I consider those three teams three of the most dominant college basketball teams, you know, I've ever seen, pound for pound. I'm talking about 1 through 5, dude. I mean, anybody put on the floor.
That's why I'm glad you said that because I had plenty of conversations with people about this. And I always say this. If you compare, well, not even compare, let's not compare the teams. Let's see who's gonna beat. Like, let's break it down, let's break it down. So you have the Michigan, what they call themselves, the five, huh?
Y'all
What they
finna go
call
to the
themselves?
gym? The 5-5. Come here, Kobe. Come here.
Okay, they call them the 5-5, right?
Come here.
So
Lean over here. Let me
so
say what's
you
up to
thinking,
Marcus, man. This is my boy Kobe. Live, this
what's
is my
up,
boy
Kobe?
Kobe. He
What,
can't see it.
is he going to the gym?
Yeah, they on their way to the gym, boy. And all the boys
Man, go
home,
get them.
man.
Tell them go get them shots up.
Okay, they right there.
Go get
All
them
right, Keller.
shots up, man.
All right, go ahead, Liv. What was you
But
saying?
yeah, so I'm saying you got Michigan, the Fab Five, right? So you got Illinois, and you said
Right?
UNLV. I look at all of those teams you talked about, and the five starters were dope on
Yeah,
all of them.
that's what I'm
Dope.
saying, bro. That's what I'm
But think about
saying.
this. Nobody really talks about this. What about the guys that's coming off the bench? So
That's
you got Illinois. You got me, Irvin Small, Larry Smith. You got some killers coming off that bench. Can you name the killers coming off UNLV bench? Can you name the killers that's coming off of Michigan bench? That
oh,
wins the game right there, buddy.
that went the game.
That wins the game right there.
Right.
And I'm not knocking on none of those teams, but I just always say, what if one of those guys get in foul trouble? Who's gonna step up?
Right.
Who you gonna bring? I'll give you a perfect example. We played against Louisville in the tournament. Purvis Ellis, Bradford Smith, Kenny Payne. They got some dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Battle gets hurt. Lowell Hamilton gets hurt. These are our two starters. Me and Irvin Small gets called upon to get in the game. I started. We beat Louisville.
It was
We
like,
beat Louisville.
let's go.
I came, I was coming off the bench for that team, but Coach Henson started me because Lowell Hamilton and Kenny Battle was hurt. Started me. I came in, had 14 points, 8 rebounds,
That's
and
big in
we won that
college.
game. And we won that game.
Nasty.
So I really don't want to talk about that no more. I don't want to hear it coming out your mouth, Bob. I don't need to hear it from nobody else's mouth. That squad we had, man, is one of the greatest teams to come out of
Period.
the state of Illinois.
Period. Hands down. One of the greatest college teams ever.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
But y'all came close, man, getting the whole thing
We did,
done.
man. We came close, man. We did. We came close.
I think that's the only team that ever done that, though, in Illinois. I mean,
no, Michigan. I mean, our Illinois, the 2005 team got all the way to the championship game.
well, who?
Remember Darren Williams and them and D Brown, 2005 Illinois team got all the way to the championship game and lost to North Carolina.
Oh, I forgot about that.
See, you forgot about them because it wasn't like they didn't have that but they had some great players. I mean, D Brown and Darren Williams and James Augustine and Roger Powell. They had some Luther Head. They had some ball players, and people try to compare that team to our team too. And I know we should be celebrating because we both went there, but that team couldn't stand a chance to win us, man. They were too little.
Too
Too
little.
little, man. Too little. But man, I enjoyed this segment, man, and I know it's we've been on for a minute. We've been on for a minute, Bob. So,
yes,
and I know you like to talk. I like to talk.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Well, man, this was a good one. You're right, man. We're going to have to make sure people tune in, man. Make sure y'all downloading the podcast on the Bleav Network. Go on there and download it. You don't just have to watch the video. And we got 9 shows up now. Y'all make sure y'all go over there and download and listen to Liv give the spiel, because I'll be sitting back watching these shows cracking up like, dang, man, Liv, he know what he talking about, man. You know what you're talking about,
man, dude. And sometimes I'm just going off the cranium too. So we don't even have the researches and the resources that we need. Sometimes I just remember things, man, that happened and when it didn't happen and just go from there. But it's great, man, to have people that have that knowledge to help someone. That's what we all about. All Ball Chicago is really about trying to share our knowledge and also give a kid an opportunity. I mean, we want Chicago to be back on the map as far as getting recruited. Kids college coming in, recruiting our kids, and just giving them that opportunity, man. So sometimes people just don't want to come into Chicago because of what they heard. So we just wanted to give that voice to those kids, man, that needs that look.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. But this was a good one, man. This goes up immediately. This is our weekend edition, so we're going to drop this one immediately. And, man, y'all keep listening to the podcast, man, with your boy, the host, Marcus Liberty, the legend, and your boy, the co-host, Robert Bobby Reed. What we finna do, Big Marcus?
It's time for me to unlace these shoes, man. Unlace these shoes, man. Today I got on my Nikes, so I'm going to untie my Nikes nice. I laced them up real tight at the beginning. Man, they getting a little too tight for me now, man. So it's time for me to unlace the shoes.
That's my Adidas. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.
Peace. I holla.